Back in the 60s, Tomaso became a member of the supercar elite. But since then, models like the Mangusta and the Pantera have been consigned to the history books and production has all but ceased. But now, American Bruce Cavalli, whose father rescued Jensen in the early 70s, has set up a company in Modena to produce up to 800 a year of these all-new, fully type-approved Tomaso Mangustas. From the front, the Mangusta looks the part. Its wide, low stance entices, but those soft, curvaceous lines become distorted towards the back. The bulbous rear end has Maserati DNA and will not be to everyone's taste. The Mangusta has the spirit of an Italian TVR. It even has a detachable hard top, just like the Camaro, which fills the rather small boot. But even the extravagantly creative minds of TVR haven't come up with a feature like this. Neat. On the inside, things are a bit more sedate, more Hugo Boss than Moschino. It's all rather old school, with only the odd touch of aluminium reminding you that it wants to be a driver's car. Now, like most Fiesta owners, I can live with this Ford switchgear, but surely that carriage clock is due for early retirement. Modenese heritage it may have, but it hasn't got that zippy Ferrari engine note. It grumbles into existence the only way a V8 can, and below 4,000 RPM you begin to wonder what all the noise is about. But apply a few more picojoules of pressure, and a tidal wave of power erupts, which will launch this Tomaso to 60 in about 5 seconds. And the chassis and suspension setup also cope well with this loosely stitched Italian tarmac. This is an American specification model that is a touch on the soft side, but the Americans do love their creature comforts. There will be a stiffer European specification model available. There will also be right-hand drive. But as it is, this Tomaso is fun. Priced at around £65,000, it isn't about to go head-to-head with the Ferrari 360. But to succeed, it must first beat another local star.
The Maserati 3200 GT. The Maserati 3200 GT is an arch rival to Tiff's Tomaso, though when the Wonder Boy drove it last year, he wasn't impressed. I think it looks good, and surely you can't go wrong with that badge. But despite its pedigree, it's not a worthy successor to the Maseratis of old. The steering is too light and too vague for you to really feel what's going on at the front end. There's too much play in the middle pedal before the brakes bite sharply. And there's just not enough power to pull this car's weight, despite it having a bi-turbo 370 brake horsepower engine. But it would have worked better had Maserati bothered to connect the turbos properly. However, the chassis is pretty decent, and the interior is luxurious with all this super leather and rather sassy dials, and there's room in the back for a couple. But as you might have guessed, I don't really rate it as a driver's car.
So, what do you think, Viggs?
Well, it doesn't stir my soul.
No, it's not much fun to drive. Come on, hop in here.
Not too kind.
So, Vic, are you sitting comfortably?
I certainly am. These seats are gripping well, which is just the job when you're driving. And I love all the leather, and there are some really nice touches. But I don't like the colour, and that clock has got to go. But what's it like to drive?
Well, surprisingly good. I've been having a lot of fun with it. It's a bit on the soft side, but the chassis holds on well. Steering's a bit light, but a lot of feel. It's consistent. Enjoy driving it. And it's got this great V8 power, instant grunt. And, you know, I'm never a big fan of turbochargers at the best of times.
I know. having a bit of fun there.
So then, Vix, which is it to be, the Tomaso or the Maserati?
Well, I agree with you. This is the better driver's car, and I love the grunt.
But that Maserati has more accommodation and a bit more style, perhaps.
This is true.
So, spending your own money, which is it going to be?
Oh, even though we're in Italy, I wouldn't go Italian. I'd go German.
Yep, I'd have to agree, Vix. For this sort of money, it would have to be the Porsche 911.